Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2012 EDP Cascais Kitesurf Pro at Guincho Beach here in Portugal. Glad to welcome you today to beautiful, beautiful weather that we have here at our local spot. Want to welcome everybody who's joining us, watching the live stream broadcast we have here on the morning of the first day of competition. Want to introduce ourselves as commentators for the event. I'm Ben Meyer, joined by my compadre and compatriot, Sky Solbach. We'll be your talking heads here all week, and we're really excited actually about this event and the warm-ups that have been happening in the days leading up to the contest day have been spectacular. And as you saw in that brilliant live shot overview, it's just a fantastic venue to be able to host this first competition of the year. And,
Absolutely. I mean, as you can see, conditions out there, we do have some small waves rolling in this morning. However, it doesn't look like it's very windy, so we're actually waiting to hear from our contest director and head judge who are conducting the riders meeting right now, whether they're actually going to run the event for the day.
Yeah, as you saw, there's some waves rolling in, and the wind is kind of waiting to see if it's going to push its way in for the day to be able to come up to contest speed and wave height to be able to start the contest for the day. But as it is day one, we never want to rush anything too quickly, and the forecast looks pretty fantastic for the week. So we're anticipating that it's potentially a lay day for the riders, but we'll wait to hear for official word in the next few minutes. And in the meantime, we can kind of, again, go back to our live shot here as we're looking at the beach and kind of go over a little bit what the spot entails and sort of the way that the riders have been setting up for the last week in the warm-ups here. Sky, do you have any insight? You've been riding it.
So I've actually been here for about 2.5 weeks now, and been kind of here just warming up and practicing and kind of getting used to the spot, as a lot of riders have. A lot of riders have just slowly filtered in over the last couple of weeks. I know that you just got here about 2.5 days ago, and the day you got here was probably one of the better days we had. And as you can see, maybe we can just go back to that beach shot. Like kind of about halfway up the beach there, you can see kind of a little rock outcropping there. That's basically the start of the competition zone. So that's pretty much like the main peak, kind of straight out from those rocks where you can see that pack of surfers sitting out there. There's kind of a little wedge sandbar that sticks out into the sea there, and that's kind of the takeoff zone. And the competition area goes from that peak about 150 meters downwind. So that's going to be the main competition area and kind of the main peak. These sandbars do shift around quite a bit, but for the last few weeks, there's been a really good sandbar in place there, and it's looking really good.
Yeah, and it's as you said before, it's kind of a shifty wave. So it's one of those situations where we'll kind of have to wait and see how conditions arrive. And again, this is a place that receives such spectacular ground swell, but also the wind swell is able to be redirected and reformed into the beach. So the windier it gets, the bigger the waves get actually, and nice and collected and organized, which is pretty unique in the world. There's very few places that can collect wind swell, I believe, like I've seen here the last few days.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing actually. Obviously, like you said, it works great with ground swell, but the other morning we woke up and it was probably knee high out front, but it was strong kind of side onshore wind, and I'd kind of resigned to it just being a flat, super windy day, but throughout the afternoon and the tide dropping, it just all that wind swell kind of collected and just kind of started funneling in onto that sandbar, and by evening it was probably in the 4 to 6 foot range, and guys were out here getting barreled and doing airs, and it was it just spectacular, perfect waves. So that wind swell is definitely a great thing to have, a great backup when you don't have good ground swell.
Yeah, and again, we're just waiting to hear the official word from the contest director and the head judges to see whether they think the contest conditions are going to ramp up today. And in the meantime, we're going to take our first break as we're waiting to hear final word and hear a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back in a moment.
sponsor, Best Kiteboarding, our industry sponsor here for the Cascais Kite Surf Pro. So those of you who tuned in to last year's webcast know that this is our second year now of the KSP. This is our first event of our second year. Last year we had a 3-event World Championship Tour series that took us to Mauritius, Peru, and Cabo Verde. This year we actually have 4 events, so a little bit bigger and hopefully quite a bit better, and a lot of new riders on tour as well.
Well, and it was such a spectacular for everyone who was able to tune into the first event last year. What a fantastic way to kick off the inaugural season of the 2011 KSP Pro Tour, and you know, we're set up exactly the same position that we were last year. Not in the sense of the same exact wave that we're going to be expecting, but this is just such a great venue, a great place to be able to showcase some of the existing talent that was on tour last year, and some of the new up and coming riders that, after watching the warm ups for the week ahead of the contest, the guys who are at the top last year have their hands full with some of these new young and coming riders. It's going to be something to watch, that's for sure.
That's for sure. I mean, last year we definitely had a lot of super talented riders on tour, and you know, they're going to be making runs again for the podium and for the World Championship title again this year. However, we do have so many more new faces, so it's going to be an amazing thing to watch, and especially with these different conditions. You know, last year the waves we had on tour are a little bit different than here in Portugal. Of course, we kicked off the event in Mauritius last year, huge, you know, 10 to 12 foot side offshore barreling reef break. Then we went to the long point break in Peru, and then ended up the final series in Cabo Verde, where unfortunately didn't have the best conditions, but we still managed to run some expression sessions. But here, of course, the side onshore wind and the kind of beach break setup is going to lend itself more to the progressive strapless kind of aerial movement that's going on in the sport at the moment. And,
exactly, and let's check out. We have a clip that we've put together here at the KSP, kind of recapping the 2011 season to sort of get everyone up to speed on the guys that you'll be more familiar with coming up in the heats at the first stop here in Portugal, but also kind of give an overall recap of the spots we were able to visit last year, and the level of riding that we can expect leading up to the first heat buzzer when it starts here at the 2012 event.
The conditions of the surf are absolutely mind-blowing. The guys are ripping out there, along with the ladies of course too. We've seen some phenomenal rides. Really been exciting.
I think it's an excellent potential for athletes to, you know, come together and see what others are doing and actually learn off each other too, and see where the sport of kite surfing and waves heads.
I think that's the best thing that could have happened to the sport in the past couple of years. There's been a vacuum for it, and finally some riders took it in their own hands and set it all up, and I think it's going to be a great future for a wave riding tour.
Had the pretty much best pool of riders you could bring together from all over the world. They're varied in their disciplines, all different styles coming together, and I think really what we saw was the best combination of perfect conditions and motivated riders that you could hope for.
we do want to show kite surfing really from its best side, so we don't want to run it when the conditions aren't suitable. I think we have achieved exactly that. This certainly was the best we could deliver.
A sensação é boa, claro. Espero que seja o primeiro de muitos. Pelo menos vou fazer por isso. Acho que este campeonato me deu vontade e pica para fazer cada vez melhor. Vou ter a responsabilidade de pelo menos tentar ter sempre o título.
A sensação para mim é muito alta, incrível. Já estava aí chorando porque não acreditava, é um resultado muito fixe para mim. Já estou começando a ir rodear um pouco do mundo para fazer competição. Eu espero que sempre vou ter mais, como se diz, mais experiência, ir competindo sempre na minha vida, espero.
So overall, I think we had an incredible season this year. We had insane waves. We went to the most exotic locations across the globe and really showcased high-performance kite surfing and really carried through our vision of doing so. We definitely accomplished what we set out to do, which was to showcase high-performance kite surfing in the best waves around the world. What an insane year. We all had a blast, I think. Well, that was pretty crazy to watch that recap and see some of those waves we had in Mauritius last year. Some incredible conditions on tour and some amazing riding going down. Guys getting barreled. That was pretty insane.
Yeah, it's always great to see kind of where you've come from and be able to set your goals and set your standards for what to achieve on this next year of tour. And actually, while we were watching that clip, we just got word from the head judge and from the contest director, and they've decided to call the event for the day and release the riders as they didn't feel that the conditions were going to pick up any further and didn't feel that the wind was going to push in. And even as we're up here and looking out from our sort of overview of the whole beach, you can see that there's definitely some waves rolling in, but it doesn't look like that the wind is going to push into the beach at all. And for sure, we have the forecast in the future that looks like it's going to really pick up for us, and there's no reason really to push even in this wave height, let alone the fact that there's no wind.
Yeah, I think today is just going to kind of be a good day for the guys and girls to get out there and go for a nice leisurely surf and do some stretching and kind of get ready for their heats coming up. Hopefully on Sunday, we're looking for a pretty good start on Sunday. Hopefully, fingers crossed if that forecast comes through.
Yeah, again, we're looking for a great week, but to reiterate, we're calling the event. The head judge and the contest director called the event for the day. Again, we'll be checking back in with you guys every morning for the morning call to let you know sort of what the riders meeting, what happens in the riders meeting, what happens with the contest director and the head judge, and what their call is for the day, and what the expectations are to be able to either say, yeah, we're on, we're all go, or we're going to call another lay day for the guys.
Yeah, so I think we're going to do a 10 a.m. Call each morning, which will be updated on the live page. I think tomorrow we're aiming for a 10 a.m. start. That may change as the week goes on, but it'll be there on the live status bar there.
Perfect. Well, while we're here, let's go back to that 2011 recap that we just watched, and perhaps you can help us through what you think who you think your early favorites are for the year, and who is potentially some up and comers that all of our live stream people tuning in should keep their eyes out for, and people following the tour. What do you think?
Well, I mean, we've had a long break. Our last event was in December in Cabo Verde, so a lot of things can change in 6 months, 7 months since our last event. And I know all the guys and girls have been, gone back to their home countries and done a bunch of trips and traveled and done a lot of training. And it's pretty amazing to see how quickly the level actually progresses. we do have a lot of new faces here, a lot of new talent. But, you know, I think even that being said, I don't think you can discount, you know, the big names on tour last year. You know, Ayrton Cozzolino from Italy and Ines Correa here from Portugal, our 2 world champions last year. They're going to be looking for repeat titles this year and to defend their titles. And you know,
Ayrton was looking solid in warm-ups. As we said before, there was a few days in the lead up to the event where the riders kind of got a feel for the place and were able to spend some time in the water with some pretty decent swell rolling in and some pretty windy conditions. I know the first day that I arrived, I drove up over the hill and I saw pretty good size overhead swell rolling in, and everyone was on 5 and 7 meter kites. And I mean, for me, I didn't even put my bags in my room. I just pumped up everything and took my board and got straight out there. And so I know even for that, those are the conditions that we can expect as the week unfolds. But being able to watch some of these guys in their warm-ups, for sure, Ayrton is a guy who stands out as.
Yep, I mean, Ayrton was out there. You know, I think he kites more than anyone here. He's you know, first guy in the water and last guy off the water as it gets dark. But you know, yeah, a lot of guys out there ripping. I think standout for me was probably Sebastian Ribeiro, who was our best up-and-coming rider last year on the 2011 KSP World Tour. We first saw him at the Peru event last year. Comes from a surfing background, and by the looks of it, he's really stepped up his level even more on the kite this year. And he was out here throwing air reverses in the shore pound and super crisp, smooth turns. And he's going to be one to watch for sure. Of course, you can never discount Mitu Montero. He was one of the runner-up last year, one of the very top riders and standouts of the 2011 tour. He's going to be looking to improve on his situation this year again. And yeah, I mean, we've got so many young guys, and I'm sure we'll get to that, you know, throughout the week, and it'll be great to see that green flag come up and watch these guys rip.
Yeah, and in addition to Me Too, our third place competitor from 2011, also bringing a really solid surf style and actually sort of a veteran to the strapless movement in Guilherme Brando of Brazil. And for me, and I know we were talking about it earlier, that I think it was the first time that perhaps we were able to see the potential of what strapless wave riding could be with a kite when we saw Gili in the multi-page spread in every magazine all over the world, and it must have been 5 or 6 years ago in a barrel.
I remember picking up an issue of I think it was the U.S. Kiteboarding magazine, and I think it was 2005, and just flipping through it and came across this sequence of Gili, which was a double-page spread. It was about, I don't know, 12 or 15 frames of him just completely disappearing into this big cavernous barrel in Mauritius, and his lines just slicing through the roof and then getting spit out at the end. And that was really the first time for me that I saw a sequence in a kiteboarding magazine that really looked like a guy getting proper shacked and coming out clean. And of course, since then, you know, we know that that's now possible, and we're totally able to do that. But Gili has been there for a very long time, and he's been doing it since the beginning and really pushing that aspect of the sport.
And I think it's important too to point out that a lot of the competitors nowadays are coming from a background that's almost strictly rooted in surfing, and you can really tell as you're watching these guys with the kite is that they're so natural on the water with their movement, and it's pretty incredible to see the transitions that a lot of our riders have made from the surf world and taking a kite and taking what they're able to do with the wave to a whole bunch of new levels that 5-6 years ago we didn't even know was possible.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, and that just brings another name to mind, a young Brazilian rider, Pedro Henrique. He's a professional surfing. He was actually the ASP Junior World Champion not too long ago, and just started kiting a few years ago, and really kind of transferring what he knew from surfing over to the kite. And Christine and I actually met him a few years back. I think it was 2 years ago in Margaret River. He was over there for a WQS contest competing, and they had a lay day because it was windy and onshore. And he just started kiting, I think, and he had a kite in his board bag. And so all the other competitors were, you know, off sightseeing or doing something else, and he was down at the beach. He was able to train and ride waves, and we just showed up and happened to meet him at this beach break. And now 2 years later, it's awesome to have him here on tour, and he'll be competing here for the first time in a KSP World Tour event. So he's going to be one to watch for sure, coming from a purely surfing background. and he's just transferring that right over to the Kite.
And speaking of young up-and-coming riders that sort of have a chance to make a big splash here in the KSP Tour and really challenge that top 3 spots, you know, and the guys have sort of established themselves like Gili and Me Too as sort of the icons of the early days of strapless wave riding. We have a young South African rider, Luke McGilloway, that is going to be, you know, has a tough first heat coming up, that's for sure, to prove himself. But him together with Kiahi Debotis, both of those kids are sort of in the situation where they have nothing to lose and are going to be really going after it and charging as hard as they can, regardless of who they come up against in their heats.
That's for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be awesome to watch these young guns go out there and throw all these new school aerial maneuvers. And I think Christine was actually able to catch up with Luke McGilloway coming out of the riders' meeting this morning. So I think we're going to cut over to Christine.
Here I am sitting with Luke McGilloway from South Africa. Luke, you've told me you're 17 years old, this is your first international tour, you're still going to school. How do you cope with all this?
For the first few days it was quite hard to get used to taking my books out and not going down to the beach. But I've worked out a routine, so every morning wake up, do a bit of studying, then go kiting. And normally in Gincho the wind blows in the afternoon, so it's perfect. Study in the morning, kite in the afternoon.
Okay, so homeschooling, definitely a challenge. I really hope you're going to actually study throughout the season, because there's going to be a few more really exciting spots on the map. Spots that you have been to before or that are all new for you?
Every event is going to be new for me, so it's going to be a big experience. But before I come to the events, I try and get all my projects and exams done and just do a little bit of extra studying while I'm here to make it easier for the next events.
That sounds good. Good luck with that. I've seen some funny videos of you online. You told me that you really like to come to Europe because there's a lot of people in, well, guys really in Speedos. What other things do you like Europe for?
No, the Speedo video was a once-off. Come on. It was you'll be surprised that ROD's biggest selling item of clothing is a Speedo. Oh. So it was kind of a good advertising punt for them. But Europe it's amazing. I mean, the beaches are so clean compared to other places I've been, and it's really a nice place to be. I'm quite excited to travel a lot more than I am now.
Awesome. I think it's going to be great for you too, to see so many different and new places. Well, I've been to South Africa. It's a beautiful place as well. You live in Cape Town. You have awesome wave conditions there, but you also have good freestyle conditions there. You obviously started kiting freestyle-wise, and now you are more focused on waves. How is that going?
Yeah, I was pretty focused on my freestyle for a while. I was SA champ for freestyle and waves. But after I just started, when I signed with ROD, it was more of a wave-orientated brand. So I decided that I'm just going to put the twin tip away and start riding waves. Now and then I still ride my twin tip, but I'm in love with waves now.
That sounds good. Well, then you're right on the KSP Tour, here to represent South Africa. Good luck for you, and if you want to say hi to everyone at home, then this is your chance.
Thank you. Hi, everyone.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Luke. See you soon. And back to Sky and Ben.
Welcome back, guys. Hope you enjoyed hearing the interviews of Luke. Hopefully we don't see him in the lineup with the Speedos, but that's the cool thing about being able to listen to the guys when they're doing their interviews. We good? The funny thing about being able to hear the guys' interviews, you get a glimpse of their personality, and you're able to see a bit of their
not quite sure if I wanted to know all that about the Speedo. But
well, I didn't either, but at least you get a little bit better insight into their personalities, and not just enjoy their riding style as we're commentating too, but kind of get to know them and get to root for them, because they're all great kids, and that's the cool thing about this event and really kiteboarding in general, is it's such a small and tight-knit community that everyone is not only friends and kind of roots for everybody, you know, but also competitors on the water, and it's a pretty unique thing that you can come off the water and with your friends and stuff, and for that we, you know, switch gears now to talk about the women, and the women have as hotly of contested battles as the men do, for sure, starting with as you pointed out before, Ines, the defending women's champion. Who do you think?
Of course.
Who do you think has an inside track to challenging her for the title this year?
Well, I mean, obviously, Ines, this being her home break here in Gincho, has the advantage and the upper hand with the local knowledge. She rides out here all the time. This is just her go-to spot. So she's definitely one to watch here. You know, for sure, I think she's going to do really well. But then again, you know, our event winners from last year, Nina Bichler, for example, you know, she took out the event in Mauritius and just took everyone by surprise there, and just kind of blew minds there. As well as Mila Nessa Ferreira, she's got two last names, who won the event down in Peru, who wasn't able to actually do the whole tour last year. So she'll be on tour the whole year this year, and for sure be looking for podium finishes, and she's going to be looking for a win here for sure. I saw her warming up out here the other day. So I think we actually have Christine standing by with Nina Bichler. She was the winner of that Mauritius event last year.
So Nina Bichler, I think everyone knows your name since last year, since the 1A Pro that you dominated, no question. Mauritius being your home spot, Portugal being quite different to the conditions. Here you have onshore a right, there you have offshore and a left. Do you like the conditions here, and what are your expectations?
So it's very exciting to be here, and it's completely different, as you say. But I'm regular, so for me actually this is my natural front side, and it's very interesting to ride it in the first time. And I'm also not used to moving so much the kite. And else the water also is very cold, but it's so challenging and very nice place. I think it's a quality place for Europe, and I will enjoy competing. Thank you.
I am sure you will, and I will be waiting, or well, I will enjoy watching you compete. You said it, it's cold here, but you told me you've been in Europe for quite a while now. You're also traveling with your family. Are you spending more time in Europe? When are you going to go back home? When are you going to prepare for the event? And what are your plans for the season?
Well, I was on 2 months in Europe, so most of my time I'm on Mauritius, of course. I have to work there also. And we were a bit also in France before, so not so much kiting in the last 2 months. But after this, I go 1 day back to Germany and then straight to Mauritius. And then let's see if 1I works. I'm gonna start to train a little bit, but obviously I'm working, so I can't go for hours every day.
But you can go for an hour and a half every day, and that might be that might be enough for you. We've seen you riding there. You just told us now you're actually a regular footer. Last year everyone thought you were a goofy footer because it looks like you're riding completely natural on your front end in Mauritius. When did you actually start kiting in the waves, and when did you really start kiting at 1I?
Kiting in the waves, maybe it's now 3 years ago. Or not even, I can't remember. But after I got the baby, then I really started. And first a little bit in Manawa, but then straight in 1I. I actually couldn't turn the board yet. I was already going in the waves. And while I'm riding frontside there, it's easier, I think. And also from the windsurfing, where you don't have the choice, I would be also riding frontside. So the stance was already kind of natural for me as well.
I think you've just told everyone a lot about yourself. You went to Manawa, which is really the beginner spot in Mauritius for a little bit, but then went straight to 1I. You definitely have balls, and we could all see that last year. And now you're saying that this is challenging for you, but I think you love the challenge. So good luck with the challenges here and for the ones that are coming up on the tour, and good luck for the tour. I'm sure you're going to do really well again. Keeping my fingers crossed. back to Sky and Ben.
Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks, Christine, for catching up with some of our event participants down there. It's like I said before, it's always great to be able to get a perspective on their outlooks for the season and where they've come from and contests that they've been successful or not successful in the past and how they're planning on to take that into the probably tomorrow as well, but again, we'll check in tomorrow morning to see if that's the case. But the next week for sure looks pretty solid for conditions for wind and
yeah. I
for
mean,
waves.
it's looking great for next week. So we're in no rush to get this thing started. We do have a 10-day holding period, so we have plenty of time. We're not too stressed being now just in our first day. We still have 9 more days to go. So looking pretty good that we're going to get some conditions later on in the week.
You can see a couple. You can see on this shot here actually that there's just a couple of guys in the lineup trying to scratch for some waves. But my guess is some of the event riders are starting to head out there now after getting out of their riders meeting and trying to get in the water and have a bit of a surf. Looks pretty fun out there, Sky.
It does look really fun. It looks like it's glassed off. There was a little bit of an onshore breeze this morning, but it looks like the ocean just smoothing off. And yeah, I mean, there are a ton of people out there at the moment, but you know, this place is just being the swell magnet that it is when it is small like this. I mean, it's probably 2 to 3 foot out there, even on the sets. But anywhere else around here, there's not really much surf on offer. So a lot of this is kind of the go-to spot for a lot of people from Lisbon and the surrounding area. Really cool way to watch the scores come in live from our judges during the heats. Once there are scores in that widget underneath us, you'll be able to actually hover your mouse over the rider's wave score, and you'll be able to see all of the 5 judges' scores that were locked in. Of course, the highest score and the lowest score get dropped, and the 3 others get averaged. So that's new for this year.
Yeah, and along with that, there's always the heat draws as we were talking about earlier. And please, if you have a chance, go and download those and check them out. As Sky was saying earlier, I don't think there's an easy heat in the bunch, but it's the best way to follow who's done what. If you're not able to catch the action live, you'll be able to see sort of instantaneous heat ladders to see who's advanced and root for your favorite guys. And again, in addition to that, we have our list of sponsors down at the bottom of the page.
Yep. So we actually have you're able to go down here somewhere. I think to this side. We have all of our sponsors. You can like them on Facebook, so please take the time, scroll down a little bit on the page, click like. These guys are doing an amazing job supporting the KSP event here in Cascais. So give them a like on Facebook and show them a little bit of love.
And as always, there's all of the rider profiles to learn a bit more about the guys. You again, as we'll be bringing you interviews as the broadcast progresses during the week. And but if you want to learn sort of a little hit list of where they're from, what their natural stance is, where their home break is or something like that. The rider profiles are always available. And as always, there's a Facebook chat that links directly to us here. If you have a question to ask or want to give a shout out to somebody or want to wish your mom a happy birthday, then that's your spot, and we'll do what we can to try to answer the questions here live online as best as we possibly can.
Absolutely, and yeah, so we'll keep updating the content on the website and try to bring you as many sort of in-depth features and things like that of the riders as the week progresses. We've got a lot of cool things going on. One of them right off the bat here is if you've seen our event poster, it's actually a painting of the bay here in Cascais at Gincho Beach. We actually have an artist who has painted all 4 of our posters for each one of our tour stops this year. This first one is going to be auctioned off between now and June 14th, so it's on charitybuzz.com, and you guys can go and click on the link and go straight to charitybuzz.com and actually bid on the painting, and all of the proceeds will go to benefit the Blue Marine Foundation, which is a UK-based foundation, and they're dedicated to the preservation and protection of the oceans, so really in line with kind of eco-friendly kite surfing.
And with the beautiful spot that we're here in Portugal, you know, and even the main event sponsor that we have in EDP is a big one in for biodiversity and making sure that their you know, environmental impact from all their energy outreach programs is as minimal as possible. So having Rata, you know, as the artist, be able to create this artwork and donate the artwork to be able to raise money to be donated is great. And I think we have a clip from Rata that.
Yep, I think our media guys have a clip queued up here for us, so we're going to cut over to Rata, who's going to explain more about the painting.
Hey guys, my name is Sylvain Orange. I'm also known as Rata. That's how I sign my paintings. I'm the artist who painted Azurios du Mar, which you have right here, first of a series of 4 paintings. So here is the deal. Join Cascais and I in supporting Blue. This painting can be yours. Bid now on charitybuzz.com. See you in the waves.
So that was great to hear from Rata there, and check out that painting. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people online bidding for that thing. I know I'm going to go over and put my bid in. So as we just heard from our contest directors earlier, this is going to be an official lay day for the first day of the Cascais Kite Surf Pro. Check back tomorrow. We are going to have our first call at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. So not anticipating great wind and waves tomorrow, but then again, anything can change. This is the nature of our sport. It is a condition-dependent sport, so be sure to check back for the live webcast tomorrow morning. I think that's going to about do it for us today.
It'll be a perfect day for all the waves actually breaking. So when the wind picks up, they'll be able to know exactly and have the place wired as soon as we have first call for the event.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us today. From here, the commentary booth at Gincho Beach, I'm Sky Solbach. Sitting next to me, my partner in crime, Ben Meyer. We will see you guys tomorrow, 10 a.m. sharp.
Have a good day, guys.